Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be making a project in Tkinter GUI, namely the timer that we showcased a few weeks ago. And it's no normal timer, it's a timer in just 75 lines of code. We showed you labels, buttons, their configuration, message boxes and entry tutorials in the previous few videos. Now we'll be actually implementing all of these to make a nice project. So before we do that, let me tell you that this is part 1 of 2 and it would be really nice if you stick to the end. So there are basically two parts of this timer. The front end where our window will be displayed, so coding the GUI window, and the back end where we do all the countdown and music stuff and demonstration, which will be included in part 2 at the end. Today we'll be doing the backend stuff. Alright, so in the backend stuff we have to make a countdown, we have to play music after timer, and we have to make a few functions for some extra options after the timer actually ends. So actually let's begin by importing all necessary libraries. Today I'll be using Atom editor because we just need to edit code and not run it. I'll write a comment here: importing libraries, import time for our countdown from Tkinter, import for our this is for our GUI window, which is not going to be covered in this video, and from pylem import mixer to play sounds that we can stop and resume. Okay, so next let's get on with the main computation or countdown part. For this we must create a function called timer. You can call it anything. Alright, so def timer. Under it let's type clock.destroy. So clock is our Tkinter Windows name, and we actually have two windows, one where the countdown happens and one where there are options after the first window is destroyed. So we need to close that window, and for that we are going to use clock.destroy. Next, when the main countdown ends, we want it to play music, so we need to initialize the mixer module like the way I showed you in one of our previous videos. Link is in the description and also in the I symbol above. So let's type it: mixer.init init initializing. Next, let's load our music file and play it. So mixer.music.load. I'll add the file name later, and mixer.music.play. So we want it to instantly start. Alright, so after the timer ends we're going in a backward sequence. So we'll do after the timer ends, and then the countdown, and then like the just end of the timer, I mean the countdown. Alright, so let's create two more functions under this function, namely stop timer and snooze 5. So stop timer, def stop timer, and def snooze 5. Okay, so under this I'm going to type mixer.music.pause. okay, so I want to pause the music when we have to stop the timer, and here we will be waiting for 5 minutes. Okay, so and then unpause it. So let's type mixer.music.pause. okay, time.sleep 300 seconds is 5 minutes, and mixer.music.unpause. That's simple. We'll unpause the music right after we are done waiting for 5 minutes. Okay, So now let's move on to the countdown part. So until now you must be wondering why does some stuff seem incomplete. So as I mentioned earlier, we'll fill in the front end GUI stuff in the next video after this. So don't worry. We'll create a new function called convert timing. Okay. So def convert timing, and we already know that time.sleep accepts only seconds. So we have to convert the user's input into seconds. For this, I'll be defining a variable called reaction, and as shown in our entry tutorial, we'll be using the .get syntax. Okay, so reaction is equal to our.get star multiplied by plus minute dot get into 60 and second dot get into 1. So I won't write anything. Okay, so hour into 3600 is seconds, and minute into 60 is converting it into seconds. So that's why I had to multiply them. And all this, let's make it an integer. So let's put int and in brackets everything. So now I'll be making an if and else statement. Under the if, I'll update the stuff later as its GUI stuff. So under the else part, let's make an indefinite while loop. Okay. So if, I'll just leave it like this, else while true. Now I will have to update the countdown every second. So we'll have to use for loop. So for I in range reaction. So we actually wanted to update every time only in the user's input range. So that's why we need to do that. And now here comes an important part. Mince comma sec is equal to div mod seconds comma 60. So what this is gonna do is every time when the minute goes down to reduce by 1, seconds is going to go into 60 and eventually 59. So similarly, we'll have to do it for hours and minutes. Okay. So first let's put hours is equal to 0, because not every time we will be having hours. Okay. So now if mince is greater than 60, so that means it's an hour. What we have to do, so we'll have to use the same hours comma is equal to div mod mince comma 60. So whenever hour decreases by 1, or like from 1 it comes to 0, minutes is gonna get added by 60. Okay, I hope that's clear. And we need this to update every second. So time.sleep 1, and we need to decrement the value every time, so it's reaction minus is equal to 1. And when the reaction comes down to 0, so if reaction is equal to 0, so we are checking if it's equal to 0, then we want to run the timer function, because as I told you, we're going backwards. So after the countdown is done, we wanted to engage the timer. Okay, I hope that was clear. And with that, we've come to the end of our backend part. So that's it, guys. We've made all the backend arrangements for our timer. In the next video, we'll we'll be doing the front end part, and I'll demonstrate it again and I'll explain it this time. So thanks for watching. Do leave a like or some constructive feedback as well, and do consider subscribing because I'm sure you don't want to miss the next part of this video. So bye.